Reunion. Hello, y'all. I was selling crack on a private jet up in the hell and back. But no confusion, this a reunion. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. Get murder here. He counting money. He said, "Can man, the hell with rap. I'm only here to shit on niggas and piss on bitches. Welcome, ass. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white Vickers. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Nah. I don't like niggas, what's wrong with me? I'm a hype nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. I look and say, take flight.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is sponsored by Underdog. The app is the easiest way to make some cash just by making picks on your favorite players. Underdog is available in over 30 states, including Georgia, Missouri, and Texas, just to name a few. Make sure to support the show by hitting the link in the bio and downloading the Underdog app. Use code Mase, Cam, or STAT to get up to $1,000 in bonus funds with your first deposit. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your hosts, Mase and Cam.
Killer was good, man.
Murder, how you, bro?
Chilling, man. How's the horsepower going?
Hey, yo. What you mean by that?
Nah, I heard you talking about it.
Oh.
For the shows, Mike.
Oh, yeah, man. Listen, man. First of all, let me say thank you to all the supporters of Pink Horsepower, man. You know, it's been really a blessing. I believe I have a great product. Shout out to Sheduer, you know what I'm saying, as well. Actually, my son who's running distribution as well. But I just want to say thank you to all the supporters and all the comeback customers too. The thing about it is, Murder, you got to realize this is probably our 4th year. We wouldn't still be in business if it wasn't a reliable product. I probably in 4 years, and just to be totally honest, not even exaggerating, probably had 3 complaints. And for all the sales, you know, I'm thinking about getting my nigga Sugar.
Only 3 complaints?
About 3 complaints. I mean, as far as the product is concerned, you know, people always stealing in the mail and scamming. You got to, you know, and merchandise shit online, shit like that. But I'm talking about somebody might have been like, this, that. It wasn't like and the complaints ain't bad. The complaints is, yo, I thought my joint was going to stay hard for 8 hours, pause. And I'm like, you asking for a lot, man. Get in there, get out, and then you could wake up in the morning and get back. So, yeah, I just want to tell everybody thanks for the support, man. But, yeah, what's good with you, man? How was your weekend?
Really good, man. Really good.
Good. That's what's up, bro.
Okay, so we're going to get into this game, and Mase, you might have sprinkled some magic over the Pacers because they took Game 3, beating the Thunder 116-107. So how do you feel about the way both teams played? And then do you see this going past a Game 5 now, given what you've seen?
It might be, let me tell you something, Stat. It might be 5 or 6 for Indiana now. I'm not sure. You know, we looking strong out there. I see Cam showing up in the blue with a little goal in there. Killer, welcome home, man. It's okay, man. We accepting all newcomers, man. Welcome to Titletown. How you doing, Cam?
Yes, yeah. Requirements for Titletown just change hour to hour, if not minute to minute. Like, Indiana's never won a title ever. So
no, they're not Titletown. They're definitely not Titletown yet. They got to win twice. This wouldn't put them in Titletown.
So why bring Titletown up? Why even bring the Titletown up? I don't get it. Why would you mention Titletown? Why would you welcome me there?
Just keeping hope alive, Killer. We keeping hope alive. It's Jesse Jackson. You know how that goes.
Hope alive for who? For who though? Hope alive for who? Because
Indiana, they need the hope right now.
Even a team that wins never won the title. Titletown shouldn't even be in this conversation according to your standards. We shouldn't even bring Titletown up anymore in this series because no team has won a championship with either organization. So whoever wins still isn't invited to Titletown according to you.
No, but they can put the application in, Cam. I'm accepting new converts, you know. They can come in now. Pause. You know, we can look at their application. We still got stat. You're welcome to summer school at Titletown. We got your application through. I pushed it through. So, you know, whenever you want to show up, it's okay. They'll be looking for you.
Oh, I'll be there. I will show up.
Use code Mase, you know. But this game that we're watching, you know, it was really a good game all the way through to me. You know, it looked like they finally figured out what they need to do with SGA. They made him work more than he normally works, you know, and that's what you got to do. And Haliburton was aggressive. Pause. This is what we need out of Indiana. They cannot win the game unless Haliburton is aggressive. I don't care what Turner did and Siakam and everybody else. It really boils down for me. It boils down to if you got an aggressive Haliburton looking for a shot every time he turned the corner off to the pick, and the little white guy that came in, he's making a difference in this series. I like what was his name?
TJ McConnell.
Yeah, CJ.
TJ.
TJ might be, TJ?
Yeah.
Yeah, he might be from the hood. We might have to give him a hood pass. He comes in the game looking like what was that little guard name on Dallas when they beat Miami? He was looking just like him, coming off the pick, ready to get a basket. It don't matter what anybody else is doing out there. And when you got people coming off the bench, this is the way I expected Indiana to play. And I'm looking forward to this series. But I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana win it in 6. I'm letting y'all know right now. I wouldn't be surprised. Indiana in 6.
This isn't what you originally started off saying before the series started. You started off saying OKC was going to win this series. Then after Indiana won.
But I wanted Indiana to win.
Yeah, listen, bro.
I wanted Indiana to win, Cam.
You did say that, but that wasn't your pick. If we was going off Code Mase, this wasn't your pick. Your pick was actually the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then Indiana won. Then when OKC won again, you keep saying the same thing. And then you said, I'm back with OKC. Now it's Indiana in 6. Murder, stick to something, bro. Stand for something to fall for everything. What are we doing?
Fall for everything. Wow.
I don't know. What are we doing? You gotta
stand for something.
Stand for something to fall for.
I'm standing on Indiana in 6. I'm standing on Indiana in 6. You know what I'm saying? Indiana has always been a tough play for bad guys. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson went to jail there. You got the malice in the palace. You know, I'm going with Indiana. What I don't like is a lot of people showing up with Indiana now, acting like it's their team. I really don't like that. Niggas showing up to games and all that.
Who?
Sure, it's not Indiana, my nigga.
Who you talking about? Who you talking about, though?
People trying to claim the team. And I saw Wallow in the supermarket, right? Wallow got some, killer. He got on the OKC jersey with the Indiana shorts, talking about his team gonna win tonight. That was crazy.
Wonder who that reminds me of.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
I wonder who that reminds me of. Sounds familiar.
I didn't like it. You know, if I didn't like it, that was crazy.
I wonder who else on this show would do something like that without the uniform. I wonder who that would be. Good. I wonder who that could be.
You know, the meme, somebody is jumping from team to team. Who is that young lady right there? 300. Can you give me Stat Baby for 500?
It's crazy.
Literally crazy. Who's my team?
Stat?
Overall or in this series?
In this series.
In this series, I went with OKC. But I stood on that. Right, I didn't say, let me see how game 3 goes. Let me figure out what hat I'm going to wear and stuff like that. I was pretty clear.
Oh, Stat.
We all picked OKC, man.
Yeah.
So you stand OKC, Killer? If they get down 2-1, 3-1, you stand OKC?
Mase, like I gotta keep reminding you, It's on the record. You can switch up every show.
I know that. I'm just saying, if they go down 3-1, are you still staying OKC?
If they go down,
it's just a straight question, Cam. I don't need all of the emotions.
I'm not emotional, actually. I'm just chilling. The odds. I'm going to stay on my pick, but the odds say if you go down 3-1, only 13 teams out of 179 games ever came back 3-1. So the odds aren't good for them to win if they go down 3-1, but I can't switch my pick and people have me on record and could go back and say, Killer, what are you doing? I can't do that. But if they go down 3-1, the odds are definitely not good for OKC, not at all.
Larry, what's the odds, Larry? I know Larry is in there.
OKC is a minus 230 favorite right now, still being down 2-1 in the series. Yep, to win the series.
Crazy.
2-1 favorites right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Niggas just hating on Indiana, man. Go Indiana in 6, man. Larry, write that down.
Why, Larry? Gotta write it down.
I'm definitely betting Indiana now. I'm with it though, Mase. Whatever you want to do. You say it. You say it.
Like, basically, I don't know where Mase is at today, but listen, let me get to the game real quick. Me and Church was talking before the show started, and it's just the way it is when it comes to OKC. If Shea don't get over 30, they're not going to win. They need him to get 32 to 38 points for them to win. And Church brought that to my attention, which I was like, I totally agree. But this is more about, okay, if Shea don't get 30, and it isn't like he had a terrible game. He had 24. They're picking him up full court, guarding him full court, putting a lot of pressure on him. We seen Rick Carlisle make this adjustment with Jalen Brunson last series. So this is the time when we sit there and say to ourselves, okay, Chet, what are you going to do? Jay Will, you supposed to be that nigga. What are you going to do? And none of these, and don't get it fucked up, they both had decent games, 20 points for Chet, 26 for Jay Will. Sometimes, though, listen, it's been nights, and I hate to go back to these players, but we're talking about people who got it done. We know we sit there and say, okay, maybe Jordan going to have 27, but Scottie had 38 tonight. Maybe Shaq only had 22, but Kobe had 37. Maybe Kobe only had 16, but Shaq had 49. Sometimes the other superstar is going to have to outdo Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And don't get me wrong, like I said, Jay Will had more than Shai last night. But is he one of them players that can score 45 if need be? I'm not saying that needs to happen every night, but sometimes you say, okay, don't worry about it, dog. I got us tonight. I'm going to get us to 35 points. And those two, like I said, I'm not saying they have bad games at all, but sometimes it needs to be more than just a good game. It needs to be a spectacular game from them two. We see spectacular games from SGA all the time, and you see them bringing the pressure on SGA. Y'all are going to have to help out. On the Indiana side of the ball, Haliburton was way more aggressive tonight. We seen him penetrating, shooting the floater. The rest of the team was really, really doing good as well. Siakam, not point-wise outside of Siakam, but just the defense intensity, that's what really mattered. Today was about yesterday was about Indiana's bench. Mathurin came in and had 27 points, and then you got, to Mace's point, the white boy, T.J. McConnell. I like T.J. McConnell. I liked him since the playoffs started. I'm not going to act like I've been keeping an eye on him all season. But even when he played against the Knicks, he would come in, and sometimes players get in and they want to break a sweat and pass the ball and run up and down a couple times before they shoot. He would sub in and go right to the basket. For having played a minute and attack Jalen Brunson, last series I'm talking about. I really like T.J. McConnell a lot, but last night was more about Mathurin, and it was more about Rick Carlisle making the adjustments. This is a championship coach, and adjustments will be made. I think this series really based upon the coaching moving forward, because if they keep SGA under 30 points, I definitely believe Indiana has a chance, and it's about taking the ball out of his hands and making somebody else beat you. One stat that I do want to bring to people's attention, shout out to my man Streets. he brought this to my attention, and I did the due diligence. I think this is the most important stat that nobody's realized yet. The Indiana Pacers have not lost a game this season when Caitlin Clark attends. White power's in the building. When Caitlin Clark is there, the Indiana Pacers...
Keep hope alive.
Indiana Pacers all season have not lost a game when Caitlin Clark attends. Now that the Indiana Pacers have home court advantage, they can actually win the series because they still got 2 more games at home. So if Caitlin Clark comes to these next 2 games, it might be a done deal for OKC Murder. White power.
That's a good point, Killer. That's crazier than the Taylor Swift. Which one we think is crazier right now?
Well, Taylor Swift got losses. Caitlin Clark undefeated.
Put the camera on Stat. I don't like that.
I'm with
Black
whatever
Girl
they're with.
Magic is out the building.
This is what I'm saying. Caitlin Clark, thanks Streets for putting me on to that. Caitlin Clark is undefeated. And rather, the Pacers are undefeated when Caitlin Clark comes. Taylor Swift, she got a good record, but I'm pretty sure she over 500, but she ain't Caitlin Clark. That white girl power for the athletes is crazy. Sorry, Stat.
Yeah,
Sorry to be.
white girl power sound crazy coming out of Gail mouth. That's crazy, Stat. How do you think about that, Stat? I want your real, honest opinion. Are you for white girl power? Or when y'all say girl empowerment, is it only black girl empowerment? I want to know.
Well, those are all different. Those are all different things. Women empowerment and black girl magic. Those are just 2 different things, but it's all women empowerment. So shout out to them.
Is it white girl empowerment? Because I didn't like the energy.
I'll say women empowerment. That just doesn't roll off the tongue for me. But shout out to them girls.
Stat, this is the reverse you're talking about. You say black women empowerment. When you say women empowerment, I hear black women empowerment. I don't hear all women. It's not giving all women.
There's certain things that I just think have its own phrases. Like when I say black boy joy, I'm not going to say white man joy. Like it doesn't go. Like if there's something for that, then cool. But I'm not going to change it.
He's not asking you about a slogan. How do you feel?
Shout out to them girls. That's how I feel.
So is your joy segregated?
No.
You're saying you wouldn't say white man joy.
Well, because the slogan is black boy joy. Just like when you say black girl magic, I haven't heard a slogan. So
white girls can't have magic, Stat?
They can.
So we're starting it right now. Are you a believer that Caitlin Clark is white girl magic?
I believe that white women can have magic. I wouldn't call it white girl magic because that's not what it's called.
Would Angel Reese get mad at you if you say she has the magic? Is the question. I see you trying to say.
I'm not saying anything crazy. I just feel like that's what I would say.
Killer knows what I'm talking about.
That's why I said the whole thing. I dig where she's coming from, but I dig where you come from. The whole problem is this murder is the way you're wording it. That's why I say take the slogan out. How do you feel outside of the black girl magic, black boy joy? Could white girls have magic?
Yes.
All right.
Paige, a bunch of girls got the magic.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just personally not saying white girl magic. They can have magic, and I have to think of a term for it. Same way that we tried to give certain people nicknames, I'll think of a nickname for that. But right now, I don't got that. But I support it.
I like white girl magic. I like the sound of white girl magic. It's like, what's his name? Jay Will when they was calling him white chocolate. Pause.
What about white bright excitement?
That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy.
What's crazy about that? White bright excitement. You say that one? That's that white bright excitement right there.
I don't think I will be partaking in that slogan, but I'll think on it. I'm gonna think of something good.
I think it's time for us to grow up in that area because we've allowed Eminem. He was a great artist, still is a great artist, and sometimes every once in a decade you find a white person that can do everything a black person could do, and I think it's time for you to accept that. Stat.
My thing is, hold on,
you've been on the fence about that.
I'm going to intervene for 1 second, man. Mase, I'm not taking that side or your side, but I have to say something. You with this topic like this, 1 minute, it's like the teams. You switch teams and teams. 1 minute you Malcolm X. Now niggas, I ain't for all that. Niggas with white women and all that. I ain't with all that, man. You know what I'm saying? You Professor, you Brother J, you Professor X, you X Clan. Then the next day, you for integration. You be all over the. You wild, man. You a wild nigga, man.
No, I'm for whatever's right. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Not whatever's white. I'm for whatever's right.
Okay.
If right is black, I'm with that. If white is right, I'm with that. I'm for whatever's right.
I feel that.
I don't even have a comment. I don't even know where to go with that. So I'm gonna just walk past that. Okay, so back to the game really quick, because I just feel like there's a lot of elements that I still kind of want you guys' opinion on. Do you guys feel like there's a specific player, and it can be on either team, who you feel like is a problem, and it can be good and bad? So like a good problem and a bad problem for their teams. Mason, why don't you go first?
Yes, when you're thinking about who's a good problem and a bad problem for the team, I went after him. He's the person that he can be an X factor on this Indiana team, but some days he will completely not show up, get in a lot of foul trouble, get foolish plays, called against the team. And then we could see, like yesterday, he comes in and make a big difference, shows up with 20-something points, and on the later side of 20, almost 30. So he can make a real difference. Him and Turner would be those type of players when it comes to Indiana. And I think the same with Jay Will, because as great as good as he played yesterday, having more than SGA, the thing that really got me was when he missed those free throws down the stretch. That really made the difference in that game to me.
And I'm not going to use the word problem. I'll use the word X factor.
Okay.
To me, for OKC, the X factor is got to be Alex Caruso. We know he comes in and puts his energy in, pours all game, but this is the difference. Last game, 20 points. Not last game. Game before last, 20 points. Last night, 6 points. His defense is decent. More than decent, but we're going to need from Alex Caruso, if you're OKC, a minimum of 14 to 16 points coming off the bench, especially if you got TJ McConnell and Mathurin playing that good. We're going to need more production off OKC's bench, and I think that'll be the factor for OKC.
Okay. I'll just add really quick. I feel like for the Pacers, Andrew Nembhard did really good. I know SGA was being double teamed nearly the whole game, and I think that comes a lot from his defensive skills. I think he did really good to help the Pacers. But on the opposite side, looking at OKC, I know we look at Chet's box score, which looks good because he had 20 points, 10 rebounds, but to me, he kind of still seemed like he was struggling. I know he did really good in the first half, but by the second half, to me, he visibly looked tired. And every three that he was shooting, I believe every three he shot, he didn't make. So I feel like he's going to really need to tighten it up to kind of push OKC over that edge because, yes, we're depending on SGA, but SGA obviously can't do everything on his own. And then even to Mace's point, how J-Dub was missing some of the free throws, like little things like that, I think could have changed the trajectory of the game. And hopefully they can make those adjustments before the next game, because if not, like Mace said, it could be looking like Game 5, Game 6, the Pacers could come off on top, which it's not what I was expecting. Of course, I did say earlier that I thought that the Thunder would win this series, and I still kind of think that. But the way that this game went, I feel like might kind of change that for me. And then, Mase, I know you kind of answered it earlier, but Cam, I want to ask you, based off of this game, does it seem like Pacers could have the edge, or you're still sticking to the Thunder for right now?
Right now, like I said, my pick's my pick, but right now, I'm giving the edge to the Pacers, even though OKC is still favored to win. I just think that Rick Carlisle has too many tricks up his sleeve. I think that he knows how to adjust game to game and say, okay, cool, this isn't working, this is what we're going to do next game. Okay, this isn't working, this is what we're going to do. Okay, this is working, let's stick to this. So that's the only reason that I'm going to give it to the Pacers right now, because when you don't win, you go back and look at film and you make adjustments. Right now, if they lose the next game and then it gets to Game 5, he can make adjustments off Game 4, what they didn't do right. And I think that's where the Indiana Pacers have an advantage.
Okay. And then looking at Friday is Game 4. Underdog has Haliburton at 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Do you have him higher or lower, Mase?
Points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah, 32.5.
I have him higher.
Okay. Cam?
High.
Okay, SGA's at 5.5 rebounds. Do you have him higher or lower, Cam?
Lower.
Lower.
Okay, and Chet is at 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Do you have him higher or lower, Mase?
Higher. He's going to show up again.
So streaky. 25 what?
25.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah, high.
Okay. Make sure y'all download the Underdog app and you can make your picks too. Welcome back. So Saquon Barkley is the cover athlete for Madden 26. Mase, do you believe Saquon was a good selection?
When it comes to that Madden cover, I definitely think that Saquon was the best pick. I could only probably think of one other person that would even be close. Matter of fact, probably two. They could have picked Jaden, but they didn't pick Jaden. So Saquon was the best choice. I just hope that he doesn't get hurt. Every time somebody gets that cover, they end up hurt that year. So I'm just hoping that he stays healthy this year. See if the Eagles could get beat before they go to the championship this year.
Yeah, I think I don't have much to say about it. I think it's 100% the right choice. But I was going to say the same thing May said. I wouldn't want it. It's too much of a curse with it. Too much of a jinx. I'm too superstitious for that. If I'm Saquon and with Cameron's brain, no, I'm not doing it.
So if they call you and say, hey, we're shooting the cover for it, are you just telling them you won't show up? Or what are you saying to them?
My exact answer is I'm very honored. I know it's a privilege, but I'm thinking it should go to somebody else. I want to focus on my season this year. and be the best football player I can be possibly.
So you want to get somebody else hurt?
I guess better than me. No disrespect. They trying to get me hurt.
Yeah, they trying to get you. They trying to line you up.
Yeah.
Anybody get that award, something gonna happen. We hope not, but it's been going on too long.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mase, how do you feel about the Madden cover curse? Do you believe in it? Because Cam said, yeah, no, bump that. What do you think?
I said that at the start of my conversation. Everybody that receives that award end up with not just an injury, like it really kind of take them out for the season. So I definitely wouldn't want that.
Okay, well, shout out to Saquon Barkley. We're going to hope nothing happens because he did have a really good year. But, okay, so moving along, Deion Sanders finally got to speak on Sheduer sliding in the draft, and then all those reports that kind of came out of nowhere talking about Sheduer's professionalism and how he was acting during the pre-draft process. He said, when you sit up there and say something like he went into a meeting unprepared, Shedeur Sanders, who has had 6 different coordinators, who has still functioned and leveled up every time we brought somebody new in, and you're going to tell me he was unprepared? You're going to tell me he had on headphones? Anybody who knows my son understands he's a professional. He's going to go into a meeting with headphones on. Y'all, come on now. So he said a couple other things, basically defending his son, given all the reports that we had seen throughout the year. But Mase, after hearing that, what are your thoughts on Deion's response? And then kind of from what we've seen from Sheduer now, and just the quietness, and then Brown's minicamp, all those things, how do you kind of feel about the reports that we did hear?
When Deion makes this statement about his son Sheduer, I think it's spot on what he said. I don't see Deion as a person that would not tell the truth, especially about the sport of football. I think he's a person that really loved this sport, really loved players, even if it's his son operating on a high level. I think he's trained them to be that way, and he knows that his sons understands the moment. For you to go in there unprepared is almost to say that Deion did not prepare him for the highest moment, and I wouldn't agree with that. I know if he was going in there to get the job done, he was highly prepared, especially when you got somebody that's your coach and your dad on the level of Deion. Now, when Deion is speaking, I would have liked to see him, just speak about it as an athlete, because what they try to do most times is get him to speak just as the dad and use that against him, almost like you're just taking up for your son. But if he would have went in there and said, you know what, as an athlete, when you're looking at one of those players, and really put it in perspective the same way, somebody would speak about anybody else that knows what they're talking about. When you come from that place, it doesn't seem biased at all. Take me out of it as a dad. As an athlete, I know this young man, and I watched him from year to year to year to year as an athlete. So I know when he goes in there, he went in there ready to get the job done. And I think this is going to play in Shedeur's favor. I think when it's all said and done, all of this was perfect for Sheduer. Even though Deion may not have liked it, Sheduer didn't like it, I didn't like it, Cam didn't like it. All of those that are rooting for the Sanders family did not like it. I think it turns out to be the best thing that could have happened to him, because he goes in there with a chip on his shoulder. He hits the weight room extremely hard, and he comes out a better quarterback and a better person because of this. Because now people are trying to play with your name. People are trying to act like you really don't belong here. And it puts you in a position where, like Cam would say, bet, watch this season. The moment I get in, it's up for everybody. And I think he's going to play with that chip on his shoulder. And had this not happened, he would come in there probably on superstar time. But because of this, he's going to really dig his cleats in and get the job done. And I won't be surprised if he end up having a real Hall of Fame career.
First of all, I want to give my prayers to Coach Prime. He's going through some medical problems right now that they've been talking about. And so I definitely want to give my prayers and my blessings to the Sanders family before anything else. About this situation, look, everybody watched this unfold live. When we watching the draft, it's almost like we was watching a soap opera. Days of Our Lives, a 3-day series, because you're just waiting for Sheduer to get drafted, knowing that he should have. And I'm not going to go back and revisit that because we talked about it a couple times on the show as well as a bunch of other sports outlets. And they're still talking about it to the point where we're at now. My opinion is this, and I can never tell Coach Prime what to do because that's my big bro, man. I love him, and he gives me advice. Like I said, it's not a lot of people that could call me and I listen and be like, yo, this, that, third. Like, Dion is one person telling me, yo, stop talking and listen to what I'm saying. I'm going to shut up because I have that much respect for him. Just because not of his spectacular athleticism when he's an athlete and being a former athlete, because of his business mind. He had the #1 shoe last year with Nike, and he hasn't played in 30 years, or however long, in 20-something years. They said he wore sunglasses after the press conference, and they was making fun of him. He turned that into $1 million thing in 1 week, his sunglasses. He's a marketing genius, a great businessman, and I could never tell him what to do or say. But for me, my opinion is when it comes to this Sheduer situation, I think the NFL and the owners and the GMs are past Sheduer or Coach Prime talking. I think it's to the point where Mase just said, it ain't even nothing to talk about. We know Coach Prime. We know that he raised and trained Sheduer better than that. We don't even have to talk about that. If he's explaining this to white people or other people that don't know about Coach Prime or Deion Sanders, the athlete, you don't got to explain that to us, Coach. We know that. And we're past talking at this point. Sheduer, if he gets the opportunity, and I know he's fighting for a spot right now, that's what it's about at this point. Because talking, like I said, never tell them what to do, but I believe that's why they were mad. I think it was too much showing off, too much winning, too much being confident. And I think that's where Sheduer's situation is at now. Fuck all the talking. You ain't got to prove nothing to nobody, Coach. You ain't got to sit there and tell niggas, come on now, what the fuck you mean he came in? We know that. We get it. We know you. We know the type of person you are. We know what Sheduer is. Don't talk about it no more, in my opinion. We know this. Sheduer, go out there and bust ass. That's what it's about. Because the more you talk, I believe the more these good old boys get mad. So I would just go out there, show and prove, because one thing that fixes everything is winning. So I'm rooting for Sheduer.
For sure. And then, of course, well wishes to Coach Prime while he deals with some of his health issues. So before we wrap, would it really be an episode if we didn't end with something about the Knicks? So they're on a hunt for a coach after firing Tibbs. They asked to speak to Atlanta Hawks head coach Quinn Snyder, but were firmly denied. Trae Young actually responded to that saying, hell nah, when he saw Shams report that. They were also denied speaking to Jason Kidd, Ime Udoka, and Chris Finch. Mase first, how do you feel about all these denials, and what do you think the Knicks are going to do?
I mean, I think Quinn Snyder was probably their best bet, but out of the people you named. But there's so many other great coaches that they're not interested in, and it's just weird to think that they only got their eyes set on that one particular group. I remember all of these names could have been there at the Los Angeles Lakers, but they chose to go in a new direction, and they went with JJ Redick, and it turned out pretty good for them. I think it's time for the New Yorks to really consider going in a new direction, you know?
The point being is this, Murder, and this is why the Knicks is just a dysfunctional organization. Stat left a few names out. You know, names that were out there were names like Mike Malone. They thought they had a chance with Mike Malone, former Denver Nuggets coach that got fired right before the playoffs. According to sources from what I'm reading, Mike said, nah, he good. They wanted Jay Wright, the Villanova coach, to actually coach Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Josh Hart to 2 national championships. He said, nah, I'm good. I'm all right. They actually went to Danny Hurley up in Connecticut. Dan said, nah, I'm good. Why would I take this job and turn the Laker job down? I'm cool. It's several more names that they turned down. J. Kidd, like she said, turned down. Ime turned down. So y'all fired Thibodeau with no plan. What if they gotta call Thibodeau back, Murder? What do you do? Like, yo, no, you know we was playing, right? You know we was just fucking with you, nigga.
Hope you enjoyed your vacation. We back.
Yeah, fuck you talking about. You know, nigga tickle you with the come here, nigga. Like, yo, this is ridiculous, man. If you were gonna fire Thibodeau, you could have at least waited till you had something at least 85% done. Now y'all look crazy. Murder, you know who the candidates are now?
Yo.
Mike Brown and Luke Walton are the two candidates to coach.
Oh, man.
So you take Thibodeau.
Mike Brown would be all right, but why not go in the direction of what was his name that used to coach the Suns and then went to the Pistons?
Monty Williams.
Monty Williams would be a better coach.
Maybe he made it to the chip with Phoenix, but you saying Mike Brown ain't bad. Outside of going to the championship when LeBron was a locomotive, what is really Mike Brown's accomplishments? He didn't do well with the Lakers. He was assistant with Golden State. I think he's a great assistant. He went to Sacramento, turned that team around one season. They made it to the playoffs, got bumped the first round in 7 games against Golden State. Then the next couple seasons, they declined and fired him after that. I don't know. I like him as a black man out there in the NBA coach, and I think he's a better assistant coach than head coach. Luke Walton had mad success when Steve Kerr was out for like 50 games with a back injury, and he led Golden State to the playoffs until Steve Kerr came back, and they was like, oh, that nigga Luke Walton. I mean, he's all right because he held Golden State down when Steve Kerr was out. Nah, Golden State held themselves down. They hired him in Sacramento, I believe, or it was and they fired him too. This is bad. New York, this is the shit me and Murder be talking about. It's not even shocking. You fired Thibodeau, who gets you to the Eastern Conference Finals, somewhere you haven't been in 25 years, and don't have a plan A through Z. Congratulations. Congratulations to the continued shit that we know you for. Congrats. I can't wait. Because Knicks fans right now, Murder, I don't know if you've been on social media in the last 10, 12, 15 hours. They're in hysteria right now. All this news has came out in the last 8, 9 hours. They're losing their fucking mind knowing that the 2 finalists at the moment are Mike Brown and Luke Walton. It makes me happy. It makes me like, Murder, you got out the car first, but I got out right after you. I got out 3 blocks later. I knew it. I knew it. Congratulations to mediocrity. And it may be lower than mediocrity, depending on who gets this job. Salute, nigga.
Man.
Not salute. I hope y'all figure it out because y'all are coming off. I mean, I know y'all didn't win and get where y'all wanted, but a lot better of a season. But yeah, not having a plan going definitely mess it up.
Listen, you always say, congrats to almost making it somewhere.
That's all I got. That's all I got. Hey, y'all. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. Thank y'all for watching. And as always, it is what it is.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. 2 Big Macs, like when they doing them 2 for $5.